Welcome to Wellbeing Voices with Harbinder Narula, where we have candid conversations with leaders who are impacting the healthcare industry in India. Today we are here to talk about a sector which is playing a very important role, yet is often overlooked when it comes to healthcare industry in India. India is the largest market for medical devices, yet we face few challenges which are more to do with regulatory compliances, bottlenecks that we are facing, the funding gaps that there are, which could make the Indian manufacturers build products which are of world class, and also the responsibility of gaining global recognition for the products that are produced in India. To have this conversation, I have with me Dr. Jitendra Sharma, who is the MD and the founding CEO of Andhra Pradesh MedTech Zone, better known as AMTZ. Welcome, Dr. Jitendra Sharma. It is such a privilege to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sharma, before I get into my questions related to the industry, how did the idea of AMTZ come up? What was the vision with which it got started?
The vision was a problem statement. I was designing large number of national programs for the Ministry of Health, Government of India, which were medical technology intensive programs. Like the National CT Scan Program, National Teleradiology Program, National Diagnostics Program, National Teleophthalmology Program, National Dialysis Program. Now you pick any of these programs, they require large number of consumables, machines, reagents and so on. My job was to design public-private partnerships, not just to disrupt the sector but bring accessibility complemented with affordability that comes with scale. When we started designing and rolling out these programs, private sector participated but government had to do competitive bidding. And sometimes we would see, despite competitive bidding, the L1 prices would be high. And we realized that they are high because unlike pharmaceuticals, where we are a global powerhouse, medical technology, we were 96% import dependent. So that was the problem statement. But since I have worked for WHO for some time looking at global medtech hubs, I realized that India didn't have a medtech hub. So we proposed to set up a hub, which is AMTZ, which can change the tables, which can change the chapter for India. And I'm very glad to say that we have emerged as now, within 7 years, world's largest medical technology park with more than 160 companies, over $2 billion of cluster turnover per annum, just from 10,000 rupees and a forest of 8 kilometers in 2018.
Dr. Sharma, India as a country has been speaking about wanting to reduce its dependency on foreign manufactured medical devices. How close have we come to self-reliance and the role that AMTZ is now playing in making us closer to this goal, this objective that we set out to achieve?
Excellent question, because finally this question is the hallmark of any outcome. Outcome of our work. When AMTZ started, India was 97% import dependent. We are now 63% import dependent. Exports are growing at the rate of 14%, imports are declining at the rate of 4%. Now if this continues to happen, 2032, 2033, India will be import neutral in medical devices. Import neutral means our import dependence would be less than 50%. Now, given the global trade and nature of things and the technology intensive value chain that goes on in medical technology as a sector, even Germany is 30% import dependent. Even the US is 27% import dependent. Even Japan is 36% import dependent. So to aim for import neutrality, which is less than 50% import dependence, within a foreseeable future, 5 to 7 years more, is almost taking 100% import dependence 15 years ago and becoming import neutral in 15 years. And if the country can do that, and today we have a market of 1 lakh crore medical devices per annum. If a country can do that, then nobody can stop India from becoming an export hub for medtech, an affordable platform of medtech production in India by 2045, 2047, 2050. Right. Which means we are well on track. And I can tell you that yes, AMTZ has played a tremendous role by being the best example and model for industrial scale up. There are many other sectors that are coming to AMTZ to learn our model. But this success is also supported by Kalam Institute of Health Technology, which is the technology policy arm supported by Government of India that works at R&D, market assessment, market intelligence, health technology assessment. It's also supported by Indian Biomedical Skill Council that we set up for skill enhancement of medtech. Large number of schemes of Government of India, and I was privileged to chair the drafting committee of the production incentive scheme for the Ministry of Health, for the Department of Pharmaceuticals. PLI scheme has again created a scale of manufacturing that is possible, and we have been associated with that. Large number of schemes and large number of institutional platforms created by AMTZ collectively are making this goal come true.
Dr. Sharma, if I understand correctly, apart from just creating a manufacturing hub, you have been focusing on research, you've been trying to bring attention of these manufacturers towards innovation. You're also trying to include not just large manufacturers who are going to create an impact, but also involve startups. How have you been able to focus on creating this unique platform, and how has this uniqueness differentiated from any such platform which was created across the globe?
If you just type on ChatGPT or AI Gemini today, the best medtech clusters of the world, AMTZ India will come as number 1 most of the times. Right. And then we have Boston, Massachusetts, Cleveland, Ireland, China, Japan, Germany, and so on. We have been able to do this because medical technology manufacturing requires large number of scientific facilities, which are in hundreds of millions of dollars, and simple manufacturer may not have the bandwidth and wherewithal to put that in place. AMTZ put that in place institutionally by creating the largest basket of medtech technology centers for a manufacturer in India. We are also unique, and we differentiate ourselves because Kalam Institute, the medtech project institute for technology policy, is world's only WHO collaborating center for health innovations and reports its work to WHO headquarters in Geneva. Okay. We are also unique because we have as AMTZ a World Trade Center AMTZ linking us to almost 128 countries and 392 cities where World Trade Center has its presence. Okay. Now what have we done? We have created a platform of science. We have created institutional mechanism to take science and medtech forward through WHO by being a WHO center, and business forward by World Trade Center, thereby making us the only cluster in the world, not just in medtech, in any field, the only cluster in the world to have a UN collaborating center of WHO and a World Trade Center in the same cluster. And that's what makes it different and the only one in the world.
How did this idea of doing such collaborations come up? What was the role that you played? I'm very inquisitive to understand, because at the end of the day, whenever we set up an institution, run an institution, there is someone's thought, someone's intent behind it. And you know, I'm just listening to you, I can take pride in what we as a nation are doing in this particular space. How did this all unfold, and how did you get the government to, you know, not just support but partner and back you up and say that, listen, go ahead, let's just make this happen?
So many of these endeavors by AMTZ and Kalam Institute by itself, not necessarily through government, because we do enjoy, thanks to the government, a reasonable level of autonomy, a great level of autonomy. Now, collaborations came because in technology oriented business, you can never do anything alone. You have to partner with somebody. Now, the simple specs that we are wearing, it was invented 300 years ago, right? But if this specs has to become an intraocular lens, you cannot do it just as a specs maker. You have to learn biophysics, you have to learn biomaterials, you have to do clinical trials, which means you cannot work alone. And therefore, collaborations is in the DNA of AMTZ. There is one more interesting thing which is more philosophical than technical. Large number of institutions, they have vision, mission, objectives running into paragraphs and pages. Correct. If you just click on the website of a decent institution, the vision, mission, objectives is perhaps 3 to 4 pages, and nobody reads them. They are important only if they get integrated in the DNA of the organization.
Absolutely.
We adopted a simple approach. We said our vision, mission, objective will be a one-line principle that all of us can follow in our daily lives. Even if my staff is going to drop their children to school, they must have that in their DNA, which is not possible for a 4-page vision mission statement.
Right.
What is our statement? Our statement is we don't say no.
We don't say no.
Now, that's a very powerful tool. The moment you say no, you are closing the roads.
You're closing the
Possibilities.
Yes.
The moment you say yes, you are forced to find an ethical, legal, technically correct path. That's innovation.
Correct.
Finding new ways to deliver, finding new methods, finding new products, is that not innovation?
Absolutely.
No is the biggest enemy of innovation. And we took that no out of AMTZ's DNA.
Awesome.
Simply by stop saying no, we innovate. We innovate because we say yes, and that forces us to find methods.
You know, this is so beautiful because it just takes me back to the time when the IT revolution was happening in India, and I was a part of an organization, and I remember how the narrative changed from science to talking about क्या हो सकता है क्या नहीं हो सकता है to be seen as an enabler and say कैसे हो सकता है ये फाइंड आउट.
क्या आज हो सकता है, क्या कल हो सकता है. नो हमारे जिंदगी का इतना बड़ा दुश्मन है. आपको एक मैं छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं. आप किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाएं और आपके पास 100 रुपए हो और वहां खाना 200 रुपए का हो, तो आपको वो नो बोलेगा. लेकिन अगर वही रेस्टोरेंट इनोवेट करने लगे, आपके लिए लो कॉस्ट मील्स भी बनाने लगे, टिफिन्स बनाने लगे, तो उसे नो नहीं बोलना पड़ेगा. उसकी टॉप लाइन बढ़ेगी, मार्केट पेनिट्रेशन बढ़ेगा. हमारे लंगर क्या करते हैं? What is the difference between a restaurant and a langar? A langar doesn't say no. And have you seen a langar go empty? No. You penetrate, you make a difference when you say yes.
Absolutely. I mean, this is amazing.
And that's why our USP is we don't say no.
Amazing, amazing. You know, it is beautiful. And sir, कुछ भी नया जब करने जाते हैं, you know, when AMTZ was being conceptualized, thought through, being established, every institution faces certain pushback or certain challenges. I'm sure you would have also gone through that process. Can you recollect what were the challenges that you faced when you were trying to set up AMTZ? And if there's any incident or a particular story that you would want to share with us कि ये चीज़ हुई थी and how you overcame that challenge and you smile at it when you look back.
There were, of course, creating a large number of institutions, and within a public sector, a corporation like AMTZ, a greenfield project, and the biggest challenge being in a barren land, expecting multinationals to come together, some of them competitors to each other, to make that place their home.
Right.
because industry lives in competition. If you tell them come together to one place where you will live with your competitor, you will produce with your competitor, obviously there would be a suspicion or an reservation or an aversion. AMTZ had its own fair share of challenges. We sorted them out by conveying right messages, by putting the right solutions. You will be happy to know that in AMTZ, competitors share walls of their factories. In times of need, competitors shares their spare parts.
Lovely.
We have converted competition into collaboration. There have been many challenges because we live in the realities of a political world. We are a democracy, and democracy and politics does have its own impact. I wouldn't go into those types of challenges, but challenges that were related to our core business, core work of producing low cost medical technology for India and making India a global medtech powerhouse, I think we could meet all those challenges. I can share just two simple small examples. One that you may brush aside as a coincidence. Second, you may accept as more objective, but it's my duty to share both examples with you. When we applied for a World Trade Center, I was in Chicago attending the RSNA, the world's largest radiology event, trying to bring more manufacturers to AMTZ. And I was supposed to go to New York for half a day to sign the World Trade Center agreement. I landed at New York at 9:30 in the night. The agreement signing was at 8:30 in the morning at Manhattan at World Trade Center office. And my return flight was Air India at 11:30 a.m. I was supposed to sign the agreement, go to airport, take my flight and come to India. After I landed at 9:30, at 10:30 I got an email that the agreement signing ceremony has been called off. And I was not well at all. I was very, very sick. For some allergic reasons, I was very sick. At 10:30 in the night, I was told the agreement signing ceremony has been called off. And I had no way to contact them on phone at 11:30 in the night. So I sent them mails, connected with somebody, that somebody was in Africa. And I only said, if it has been called off, it's fine. We are disappointed, but I am already here. I have morning 11:30 flight. Can I visit for a cup of coffee? Let the agreement signing not happen. And I was told that I can come. I went there, although I was sick, for a cup of coffee. I requested them to share with me what is the problem, and I was told that somebody has complained against us that our territories are not well defined, so the World Trade Center jurisdiction is not well defined. At 8:30 we started this conversation. At 8:15 in the morning we started this conversation. The conversation was led by the Attorney General of World Trade Center Association and his team. At 8:15 we started this conversation. At 8:40 we signed the agreement. Wow. At 9:30 I went to the airport and I boarded the 11:30 flight and brought the World Trade Center to AMTZ.
Awesome.
When I landed at Vizag airport, my whole team was at airport ready to receive the agreement.
Amazing. What a beautiful story.
So there would be many things that would come the way, but you have to somehow find a way by saying yes and by making people say yes. I'll give you another small example. We were constructing first 35 lakh square feet of space in 342 days. By the way, it's not known, but AMTZ is world's fastest built industrial zone, greater than 100 acre. We built 35 lakh square feet in 342 days. From 3rd of January 2018 to 12th of December 2018, 13th December 2018, we inaugurated the zone. And when all this
342 days.
342 days. एक नक्शा पास नहीं होता है. And we built 29 centers and factories of 35 lakh square feet, roads of 8 kilometers, sewage treatment plant, water treatment plant, electrical substation, brought electricity from 22 kilometers, and water from 30 kilometers reservoir, all in 342 days.
Less than a year.
342 days. And when this was going on, one of our largest buildings, which is our electromagnetic interference center, the slab was getting casted. The concrete more than 1 crore was ready to be poured in, and we suddenly heard a loud noise, and I thought it's a blast, or some furnace has exploded or some generator has exploded. And I looked out and I saw all around AMTZ sky was full of thick dark clouds. Now those clouds and the rain that came later could not have allowed us to do any construction. Our schedule would have gone away by about a month at least, because the concrete would have got wasted. Large number of people were ready, about 600 people were ready to do their work. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and AMTZ is next to series of mountains.
Right.
I still remember on first floor of my office, I looked at the mountain and said, "Dear mountain, we have come in your fold. हम लोग आपकी शरण में आए हैं. हमें नहीं पता है कि आप क्या कर सकते हो, क्या नहीं कर सकते हो. But we have come under you. Please protect us, guide us." Entire Vizag city, it rained for 3 days, not a drop in AMTZ campus. Now these are things I don't have rational reason, one can accept them as blessing, find them in coincidental, it's okay. Whatever definition you give it is okay. The outcome is universe supported us in meeting every challenge.
No, it's very beautiful because हम जब बात करते हैं, we talk about the law of attraction and manifestation. कहीं ना कहीं we have these are proof enough to say that if your intent is right, the universe supports you.
And we have had fair share of struggles. Absolutely. But still, if I just remember that incident, 3.5 days of rain in the city, not a drop in AMTZ, our work goes uninterrupted. It rains after 3 days when the roof is already casted and needs water for curing. Nothing to pray except a bunch of mountains, and they heard our prayer.
Awesome. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. Dr. Sharma, abhi aapne, while we started talking about this, you mentioned that you turned competition to collaboration. The competitors started sharing parts, supporting each other. Now this is a cultural change.
Yes.
And I know that now you believe in philosophy and everything. This cultural change is not an easy change to bring. How did you make this happen?
I think by 2 methods. One, you have to, whether it's an individual or a company, you have to give them a higher purpose.
Right.
In AMTZ, we work for India. Then we work for the business. Then we work for our product. Then we work for our salary. We work 29 days a month. We do job on the 30th the day we get salary. हम काम करते हैं, नौकरी नहीं.
ये कल्चर ऐसे आपने कैसे क्रिएट किया है?
Now you will have to come to see how 7,000 people consider their country as their duty first. Now if you give a company or an individual a purpose higher than themselves, this is possible. And 2, get rid of the word no. No takes away all the possibilities. When you convert it into yes, you are able to find ways to do things together. I think finding a greater purpose in life, because the purpose of life is to lead a purposeful life.
Correct.
Right? So if you find a purpose greater than yours and you are able to impact others with it or help them find a purpose greater than themselves, the job is easier. Get rid of the no and the job is half done. Then the rest is simply follow through.
Amazing, amazing. This is actually very inspiring.
आप इंटरव्यू लेने नहीं आए हैं, आप देश को आगे कैसे ले जाएं उसकी सोच देने लेने आए हैं.
बिल्कुल.
और अगर ये पर्पस है तो इंटरव्यू इज a byproduct.
बिल्कुल, absolutely. And I completely resonate with what you are saying. One more thing that I've seen about the Indian manufacturing sector, and which probably needs to change, and maybe it is already changing. If I understand correctly with what I'm hearing from what you say, I'm sure this is already happening, but I would like to get your views on this. We have been manufacturing everything that the world could produce, right? We have innovated also when there was a need. The pandemic showed us the way. But our innovations are mostly frugal innovations. We figure out कि यार इसको better कैसे कर सकते हैं, इसका जुगाड़ कैसे कर सकते हैं to serve my need today. This is something that needs change. Whether it is the pharmaceutical sector or the medical devices sector, or for that matter any manufacturing sector, so that we are able to produce things that are genuinely going to be considered as innovation. How do you think we can make that happen? Change the psychology of the owners, promoters, leaders of these manufacturing organizations to start finding money spent as investment and not as trying to reduce cost.
So दोनों रास्ते की अपनी अपनी अहमियत है. See, we are people of bulk. You put a new metro line, it will be full tomorrow. How do you expect people living in a city with packed metro line innovate flying taxi? We are people of bulk. We have school admissions a waiting queue to IRCTC a waiting queue. Now, it is a reality of our democratic fabric. We have to accept. Innovation alone may not fill our belly. Bulk production will fill. And every family in India and elsewhere has a social responsibility of giving their family a good quality life.
Absolutely.
And that is easier done by bulk production than innovation, which is a long shot game.
Correct.
Bulk production is aaj ka game. So we are managing the show with bulk production as a mentality. Now, how can innovation come in? Innovation comes in, innovation happens by three methods. Method 1, can we inculcate an inquisitive mindset in the younger generation in our studies? Now, India didn't have an MTech program on medical technology, only BTech. I made the syllabus of MTech program for medical technology. We introduced it in 3 NIPERs as an experiment with 10 seats, 20 seats each. It went on successfully. Now we are creating world's first medical technology university at AMTZ. It's world's first medical technology university. It will give MTech medical technology, MTech bioengineering, MBA innovation entrepreneurship, MBA quality regulatory affairs and PhDs. Only MTech and PhD. So you inculcate inquisitive mindset towards research. That's the knowledge component of innovation. Then there is a business component of innovation. Can research done by companies be funded, subsidized or incentivized? Earlier we had 150% weighted tax deduction on R&D expenditure. For many economic reasons that was not continued, but government has now launched the research based incentive scheme, the research linked incentive, the RLI. So RLI scheme hopes to generate research within companies and incentivize them. So that's the economic component of innovation. And then there is a sustainability component of innovation. And I'll tell you what it is. When we tender in government or in a public sector procurement globally, we need 3 bids. Yes, and that's fair, correct, methodical, audited, traceable.
Correct.
And innovation by definition is a unique product.
Yes.
How to get 3 bids?
Absolutely.
So we all talk about innovation, but our methods have not factored in nurturing innovation in our procurement system. If you need 3 bids for procurement, how do you procure an innovative product?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the sustainability or policy component of innovation. So innovation as a portfolio, fully agreeing that we are bulk people. We are people who produce in bulk, we feed in bulk, we manage in bulk, we work in bulk, we transit in bulk, fully acknowledging that fact. Innovation will not be a T20 game, it's a test match.
Correct.
and that has three components: the inquisitive or intellectual component that we are building,
Absolutely.
the economic or incentives component, and there is a sustainability and policy component. All three needs to be pushed together for our SUI to slowly gradually migrate towards the core innovation.
Whatever you are doing is not just producing what you are expected to produce as AMTZ, but is also trying to restructure the way we think to make us ready for the future, which are cultural changes, strategic changes, understanding where are we lacking, trying to solve that problem. And you were telling me you've created centers of excellence. You're talking about Medi Valley, you're talking of Bio Valley, you have KIHT that you're talking about. These are all evolving beyond the medical devices. So how do you see this integrated approach to working, build an ecosystem which could collaboratively bring innovation to healthcare? It is not just medical devices.
Very necessary.
So how are you making this?
This approach is again, not saying no. I will tell you a small example. The Paralympic men's and women's team of India, children who are with one leg or no legs or spine problem,
Correct.
And they play wheelchair on basketball.
Yes.
And they came to us asking support if they wanted to go to international tournament. We supported them. Then we asked them, since we make prosthetic legs, we make one leg for about 4,000 rupees only, an artificial leg. We have camps where people come without legs in the morning and they walk back on artificial legs in evening.
Amazing.
We ask them, who gives you legs? And they say, some German company. Who gives you wheelchair? Some Austrian company. Now we have prosthetic legs production. We have wheelchair production. We built a wheelchair basketball Olympic standard air conditioned court for them. We adopted them. They started staying with us in our campus in the hostel, beautiful air conditioned hostel with gym, which we made for our staff and employees, but we also shared with them.
Right.
And then we started giving them, they gave them the Olympic standard wheelchair basketball court. They start playing. Then they start getting medals. Then they ask driving innovation on wheelchair.
Right.
It all starts with the philosophy that are you doing it for yourself or are you doing for everyone around you? And while doing so, can you stop saying no? And then things align. All we have to do is keep putting in our bit every day.
This is so beautiful. It reminds me of, in our Sikh philosophy, in our ardas that we do sarbat ka bhala. That I am not doing this prayer for myself, I am doing it for everyone in the universe.
And everyone who touches you.
Everyone around.
Yet, everyone who will touch you may not be ethical, may not be transparent, may not have right business standards and ethics, and that is where you are firm. You are firm when things are not right the way they should be. But you are most flexible to make it happen when things are right and people need you.
Sir, आपने एक बहुत important aspect touch कर दिया है by using this word ethics. Manufacturing the product is one thing, but every manufacturing company needs to sell as well. How do you bring, with such standards of thinking that becomes a fundamental of how AMTZ is running? Are you also bringing a change in how these manufacturing companies, their owners, their promoters think, so that ethics can be brought in as a fundamental base for how they do their business?
Absolutely, but we also have tremendous numbers of ethical leaders in our medtech space. I would like to name a few, like Mr. Rajiv Nath of HMD, the Hindustan Syringes,
Yes.
A very ethical leader. Mr. Suresh Wazirani of Transasia, Arba Group, absolutely ethical leader. Mr. Gurmeet Chugh of Translumina, absolutely ethical leader. So all we have to do is accelerate their impact.
Correct.
And new ethical leaders will get created or leaders will imbibe ethics. We have to recognize leaders who are ethical incrementally enhance their impact using platforms like AMTZ and create a band of leaders. It's just one candle to many, nothing else.
I can't agree more with you on this. I mean, some of the names that you've taken, I've met them personally, and I completely resonate that they are the people who are actually an example of how the other companies should be working and how the startups should.
All we have to do is show the new bunch of leaders that if you are ethical like them, journey might be effortful, you will reach far.
Absolutely, it will be fulfilling.
Absolutely.
It will be effortful, but it will be fulfilling at the end of the day. Sir, since you're talking about what the young leaders could learn from people who've been in this space, I know that AMTZ also welcomes a lot of people who are in the startup stage.
Yes.
Right? What are the qualities that you look in a startup that convinces you that this business run by this particular startup entrepreneur is worth supporting because I know it would reach a scale? What is it that you look for as a quality in the business as well as the owner?
So, we don't look for any special characteristic because we don't say no. Anybody who comes, we adopt them, we support them in our platform, but we expect something from them in their journey. What is it that we expect from them? 3 things. 1, core dedication.
Right.
Core dedication. I think if you just read the book Whatever Be the Odds, the story of DLF, there is one particular sentence in that book that you should work so hard that others feel pity about you, that you are working so hard. I am not saying that you should exaggerate hard work, but one thing we look from them is core dedication. If dedication is there, other things can be aligned. The second thing that we expect them, and this is where you might also laugh, even before the child is born, if the mother starts looking for a nanny, then there is something wrong. Startups sometimes initiate a business, they are already looking for investors so that the startup founder can exit. That's not right. You have to be with your company 5 to 10 years to give it a leadership space, and then you may become a minority shareholder or do a financial exit or take the company to IPO. But you cannot keep looking for rounds and rounds of investment only to make your money and get out. The third thing we are looking at, and we recommend our startups, is apart from looking at investments, can you look at invoices? Every startup is busy piling investment or pitching for investment. Are they working that hard to get customers? Can they, after incubation, in our zone, in our all incubators, there is one mandate. The startup should be able to release their first invoice within 18 months. If you cannot sell your product to a customer in 18 months, what's the use of you getting an investor in 24 months?
Brilliant.
Finally, you made a product for whom? For the patient, for the customer. First sell, create an invoice, create a legacy of your penetration, and then you look for investment.
That is beautiful. I mean, I love the 3 points. Your core dedication, the commitment to remain invested in the business and not starting a business with the intent of just making quick money. And third is get a product which is sellable.
Sellable. And sell it and show it.
Absolutely.
Have equal emphasis on investment and invoicing.
Correct.
In fact, the invoicing will only help your investment.
Right.
So don't keep dumping your pitch decks to investors without selling a single piece.
Right.
If you see the startup culture today, a startup can be a startup for 7 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can't raise money for 7 years, if you can't sell a product for 7 years, you don't even have the right to be in business.
Absolutely. Sir, this is very critical thing that you brought up, because a lot of startups, when they are working, they do not involve the actual user, especially in the medical equipment, medical devices space. It's the doctor, surgeon who's actually going to be using the particular product. And many a times these products get stuck in a trial stage because the doctor says that, listen, it's not helping me as much as it should, so there's no worth, it's not worth investing in this. तो इसमें कौन सा बड़ा काम कर दिया, कौन सी तुमने नई चीज़ बना दी. And the doctors are not willing to spend time in it. It's not really solving their problem immediately. And it's because the doctor has never been, the actual user has never been involved in the development of the product itself. How is AMTZ supporting these startups so that the actual user is involved to understand, do we actually need this?
Partnerships. We have more than 100 hospitals, 500 doctors, surgeons, clinicians, and we have our own hospital.
This is actually something which is very, very important. COVID-19 was a time that lot of businesses came ahead, they solved the immediate challenge that we were facing. How has AMTZ contributed at that particular time, and what, and I'm sure you must have spoken about this several times, but what I want to understand is what have been the learnings from what AMTZ did at that point in time?
So, in COVID, we were producing about 200,000, 2 lakh PP kits a day, a capacity of 10 lakh RT-PCR test kits a day. India needed 12 lakhs a day, we had the capacity of 10 lakhs a day. Awesome. 1,000 oxygen concentrators a day, 250 ventilators a day. We did a lot in COVID. What are the learnings? I think primarily two. One, sustainable and resilient value chain, supply chain. I'll give you a small example. Oxygen concentrator needs a chemical called zeolite, which separates the oxygen and nitrogen, and that's the function of oxygen concentrator. Zeolite was imported into India from Japan, France and the US. India didn't have a lithium zeolite production facility. It didn't have till now. We realized this, we imported zeolite from abroad, managed the COVID, made oxygen concentrator, worked with the chemical engineering department and experts of IIT Delhi, created the new band of molecules for lithium zeolite, created a scale-up facility. Today we have the India's only zeolite production, lithium zeolite production facility of the country. Not only oxygen concentrator, replacement concentrators, anytime country needs zeolite, we have it.
Right.
Oxygen sensors, temperature sensors, printed circuit board. One thing that we learned from COVID is resilient supply chain. And since COVID, since our good job in COVID, our contribution in COVID for the society, for the country, we have been building our supply chain resilience historically as powerful as it should be.
So you are running an organization which is backed by the government. You have private sector which has been adopted, and you've created an environment which is there. But the environment also needs regulatory changes or changes in the regulatory framework, support from the government, from the compliance aspect, etc. What do you believe are the urgent changes that are needed to accelerate the growth that the sector needs at this point in time, sir?
Just two. And that would, and a lot has been done. But I think two support mechanisms that would be necessary and desirable. One is international harmonization of our system vis-a-vis other systems. And the second, harmonization of all regulators associated with medical devices on a single platform. Whether it is Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, whether it is CDSCO, whether it is RCGM, whether it is ICMR, whether it is DBT, whether it is Ministry of Textile, whether it is BIS, whether it is NPPA. All regulators of medical technology, if they could be brought on a single platform, like VFS Global, any country you apply for visa, you go to VFS Global.
Yes.
It is they who send the passport to various embassies, but it's one place that you go to, you get one tracking number.
Absolutely.
And I think that is missing as of now. A regulator has progressed, but interregulatory mechanism must be harmonized and brought to a single window.
Just the number of names that you just took makes me believe that how difficult it could be for anyone who's trying to.
Could be 18 licenses for a factory. And I am not saying 18 licenses are not required. They are required. Can they be given on a single platform? Just because these 18 licenses are given by 18 regulatory agencies under 18 ministries or departments, can they not be on a single platform?
Right. Makes a lot of sense, sir. And one more perception challenge that comes to my mind is that whenever we look at anything that is manufactured in India, typically it is seen as it's a low cost product, which is why somebody would buy from India. If you have the money, I would recommend that you buy this Swiss made, German made product, etc. And that is how we have also, it's not that we haven't been exporting, we have been exporting, but we've been exporting to lesser developed countries, low and Middle East, and it's time with the kind of efforts that we are making and the possibilities that we are creating in the manufacturing sector, especially in the medical devices, medical equipment space. How do we change our perception to be the lowest cost and rather be seen as a equal quality or a better quality product which can be sourced from India?
Yeah. So one way to do this is by having our own regulatory inspection and validation center, something that AMTZ has done. We have US FDA 2LAC compliant laboratories we test our products, but quality also comes due to component quality in medical technology. Yes. The electronic component quality, the chemical component quality, the textile component quality, the material science component quality. And I think this quality cannot be the end, it has to be a journey. And for it to be a journey, all the components that goes into medical technology product must be of benchmark quality. Correct. So at this moment what we have done is created the international centers of quality and testing at AMTZ, right, that ensures the end product quality. But if the product fails, why it failed is known to us, but what can the component industry do to avoid that failure by improving their quality is not within our control immediately unless the component industry develops. Correct. So we have also brought large number of component suppliers who are benchmarked with high quality standards globally to India at AMTZ. We have Varex Imaging that's producing world's best detectors for radiology machines. We have Spellman that's making generators and so on. Now these reference benchmark quality champions actually drive the quality movement upwards. All I am saying is quality is a function of quality of components, quality of product and testing infrastructure to test the product. And we are well in that journey.
And also, how do we support our manufacturers when they are exporting so that their products are, it's easy for Indian products to be accepted in a foreign land, getting approvals in the foreign land. Is there something that we are doing to?
That's why we set up the World Trade Center office, because World Trade Center then can work with 392 World Trade Centers. Now you see the benefit. Absolutely. Right? This was your question. What is the benefit? This is the benefit. They help us get empaneled with distributors who can be our representatives for our quality certification and market entry in those areas.
Absolutely. I mean, this is actually a journey towards creating a, not just in pharmacy but also the medtech factory
of the world.
I think that's what
for India, from India, for the world.
Absolutely. Let's look at the future that we are building and the legacy that we are building at AMTZ, sir. Which emerging technologies among AI, robotics, precision medicine, personalization do you believe will refine healthcare delivery in India over the next decade? Which is going to be the next big technology?
There are 3 layers or 3 verticals. First vertical would be not just robotics, but telesurgery compatible robotics. Robotic systems allow you to do telesurgery if they are built that way. Telesurgery today is what telemedicine was 20 years ago. So, telesurgery complemented with robotics is first vertical. Cancer markers is second vertical. And the third vertical is bioorgans made of bioinks. We have already made ears. We are now doing project on cornea. We are trying to make in next 5 years as many bioorgans using bioinks so that organ replacement can be avoided. So, I think telesurgery, the cancer markers and cancer diagnostics and bioorgans would be the 3 hotcakes for next 5 years and future.
Dr. Sharma, my last question to you for this segment is that on a personal note, since you've been involved with this from the inception stage, planning stage,
Conception
to where we are today with AMTZ, what drives you as a leader, and what legacy do you want to see AMTZ leave for the future of healthcare in India, and not just India, but India and beyond?
So, what drives me is very simple. It's the national flag. That's why right when you enter AMTZ, there is a huge national flag at the entrance. That's the only thing that drives us, me and everybody at AMTZ.
Right.
The legacy that we want to create for AMTZ is, we want in next 10 years, at least 50% of India's hospitals, and India now has approximately about 17 to 18 lakh beds. India would have about 20 lakh beds in another 5 to 7 years. At least 50% of Indian hospitals should use 50% of medical equipment made in India, preferably made at AMTZ. अगर हम देश का आधी सेवा भी कर सकें, तो we would have achieved our goal, because many others would also come up.
When I hear you talk, Dr. Sharma, I feel, what we are doing today at AMTZ is just a beginning to a movement.
Absolutely.
And a movement that never stops. It can only become bigger, quicker, faster, more impactful. And what I'm seeing after listening to you, I'm actually not just saying, but I'm completely convinced that it's not just a MedTech zone that we are creating, but it's an ecosystem.
Absolutely.
For the country, which is not looking at just medical devices, going beyond, whether it is biotech, policy, and global quality standards. I think it is working on a mission of impacting healthcare for our people and for the globe. Thank you so much for taking our time, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Jai
sir.
Hind.